right, we're here at Rock You, the Rock You boys. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Lance Tokuda, CEO of Rock You.
And?
I'm John, CTO of...
John, do you have a last name?
Shen.
Excellent. So we're here, we've been having a really lively and interesting discussion about widgets. As some might know, I've been sort of insulting them as juvenile and idiotic, and you make several of those, stuff. But at the same time, I do believe it's a really important trend and critically important in terms of distribution of advertising and content and all sorts of things. Let's talk a little bit about where the widget market is going. Now, you guys have, which ones are the most popular on, say, Facebook?
Superwall.
Yeah.
Likeness.
Right. Likeness does what?
Likeness is a quiz that lets you match with your friends, so you can see how alike we are.
Ah.
So as soon as I friend you, I'm gonna do a likeness quiz.
Yeah, and I'm really not going to answer it. So, and then what else? What else? What else?
And XMe, which allows you to do actions.
Right, the hugging, slapping, tickling thing, yeah.
And zombies, vampires,
yeah,
werewolves, all
right.
very different.
Really mature applications. And then on MySpace, what are the big ones?
Slideshows.
Right.
Our fun notes.
Right.
Glitter text.
Right.
Horoscope.
So you were talking about these as sort of either self-expression or engagement widgets. Explain that. Explain that.
So self-expression is about looking good in front of friends. If you think about a girl when she gets ready for a night out, she'll spend half an hour putting on makeup, and then she'll go out for 5 hours.
Well, I live in the Castro, so it's not girls that do that. But go ahead.
Right. So in MySpace, we're a lot about dressing up the profile and looking good in front of your friends.
Right.
So we create slideshows and countdown timers. And fun notes and glitter text. In Facebook, it's really about actually going out. We actually create the place that people go to.
Right.
So we create the things that they do on their profile. So for example, people talk to each other through Superwall by sending each other pictures and videos.
Right.
People actually do actions to each other using XMe.
Yeah, from a technological point of view, what does these widgets represent? I mean, people can make fun of them because the word widget is kind of silly, but what is, from a technological point of view, how is this sort of a new important trend? And it is. I think it is.
Well, the biggest thing with widgets is widgets on MySpace and Bebo and that kind of thing allows you to actually take an application from another site and another set of functionality and actually embed it in a very secure and technical way onto somebody else's other site. The cool thing about what applications have actually done is actually allowed you to do that as well as access kind of really strong underlying information.
What does that mean for the whole internet as a whole? What does that change from a technological and sort of conceptual point of view?
The biggest thing is, there was like the whole craze about mashups and whatever, and the whole thing with APIs. This allows actually you to, as a developer, to actually take an experience and really control the whole thing on somebody else's other site, be able to do things like monetization, as well as the site that's actually hosting your stuff to actually have pretty good tight control over what you have access to from a privacy and security standpoint.
Now, where do you see development going then? What happens? Everything has to be open. Everything has to be accessible, distributed.
What we see is that there are major platforms that will be opening up over the next year, and we expect that everyone with some kind of social graph would want to create an API and attract developers. Because what people are finding is that it's easier to create value with third-party developers than to try to build all the value themselves.
Absolutely, you can't keep up with it. You can't keep anybody satisfied. And how does that change the power scheme from like it used to be the Microsofts, the Yahoos, the centers of power?
So in terms of social networking, was always MySpace was definitely the center of the universe.
Right.
And now what we're finding is it's being distributed across other networks, and we're basically on about 15 different networks.
Josh, how many people do you have coming to your main site, moving around their applications and widgets and stuff?
As far as the monetizable page views, we have about 38 million uniques a month.
Right. And where's development going? Where's development going, from your point of view?
From a development standpoint, we're focused entirely on Facebook right now, but there's a lot of rumors about new things coming out for other social networks. So we're actually setting up how to actually take all the social information and all the technology that we have and make it really broad-based and applicable.
Now, do you think these, again, I'm on a jihad against the juvenile nature of a lot of these things, and not to insult you, but when are you going to make something that I can use? And not that I'm 400 years old, but something that's useful and relevant and helpful, I guess, in a lot of ways. I mean, like you just said, what did you just say? There's only so many. You got to make these things last because a lot of them are faddish. A lot of what.
Well, so there's two parts. Facebook is a very big social network that's actually had great penetration in the high school and college market. With every social network and every type of website, your demographic is going to grow older, and if you intend to be a site long forever, is that you want to actually evolve along with their lifestyles. So one of the biggest things is that it'll definitely evolve into kind of a workspace kind of thing where you definitely have for instance, abilities to import resumes and search for people and search for jobs.
Right.
The big thing is, like any website, like everybody's focused on growing things really quickly.
Right.
And so focusing on the marketing aspects. But like any website, you want to actually grow out the page views, and you're actually focusing on engagement. And to do that, you're really going to actually have to make utility experience.
But you were saying you can't throw things.
Well, if you think about it, the one thing we have to admit is for social network, we are going to be focused on social applications.
Right.
And throwing things is a social thing.
Yeah, but can you do that forever? I like to throw things,
so
but do you...
For example, Poke was always a feature of Facebook, and we just made XMe, which lets you do more than Poke Hug. And if you think about it, it's been there as long as Facebook's existed.
Right, well, which is like 12 minutes. So, I mean, how long does that last? What do you think? How long does that last?
Experiences, every application that you have, if you're going to make it a real application, you're going to have to grow it with real functionality.
So not just slapping, you're going to have to kick and punch and all that kind of stuff.
You can already do that, but for example,
yay!
At some point we'll be able to throw gifts at people.
Oh.
And so one example.
You guys are just knocking yourselves out with creativity.
Throwing
what else?
a camera at Walt Mossberg, you know.
Yeah. We discussed that. Walt, we're making a widget.
Yes.
And
so
if you're really mad at Walt, you throw the printer right at his head.
That would be possible through XMe at some point.
Okay, excellent. Are you guys? Can you leave here and get on that right now?
You also be able to post gifts to Walt Mossberg camera to a server wall. So that would be another way to go into it.
I am so looking forward to this.
You don't have to pay money for a Christmas present. You can literally just give them a virtual gift.
Oh, I'm sure you appreciate that.
No, with every application, like, so we kind of like draw the analogy to kind of like the video game world. And the thing is, what you'll start off with is first is just like really simple games, which is what we're looking at right now. You evolve into more complicated games where people actually
from Pong on.
From Pong on, and then you do like role-playing games and that kind of stuff. And then what we're looking at now is kind of like the multiplayer aspect of it.
Oh, wow.
And so the big thing from a utilitarian standpoint, whether it be games or actually kind of like things for finding jobs and whatnot, is that any application that actually has a social aspect to it and actually is more useful with more people is just going to find good growth.
A bigger market. Now, very quickly, in 2 seconds or less, what's the biggest hype thing out there from your perspective? You first.
The biggest type application?
Yeah, or anything, just concept.
The dating type of application.
And you?
As an application concept?
Anything.
Oh, the biggest thing out there is the social graph.
Right.
So now that social graph's an API, we can literally get presence across every social API. That could literally mean over 100 million uniques a month.
Right. And what's hyped, though? What is something that's a little too hyped?
What is, excuse me?
Too hyped. Too hyped. Too much attention that maybe is not going to deliver what it promises to.
Too hyped.
Nothing.
No, this space. So, hey, one thing I want to mention is that Rocky, we just hit the top score in page views.
Excellent.
So we have the most page views for any widget company.
Wow.
So we really don't see an upper limit of what we can do. We can always create more engagement. We have
Excellent.
Like 100 product ideas.
You can slap into eternity.
Actually, I have one more
Go ahead. All right, one more thing.
Not necessarily too high. One of the things that hasn't been talked about is actually the kind of concept of payment systems, like the coming of the Amazon and the MySpace. There's a lot of talk about it.
Right.
And a lot of speculation. Nothing's actually come out for it, but I definitely am interested in seeing how that kind of grows utility.
Excellent. That is useful and mature. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay.